one of the things I like what you've just talked about there is keyboards or any surface that's communal, or communicable, or is it communal, whichever. You've got reception areas that people walk into, or office spaces that they come in, so you've got cross-contamination from outside, so obviously viral matter, bacterial matter, etc. But also as well, I mean, just thinking about our business, which you've already, the reason why we're doing this, you've already worked on ours, you've already fogged our offices. We've got keyboards, mouses, touch screens, machinery. I'm actually think off the top of my head as well. That other people, it's not a massive number of people, but other people will touch. And if they're touching one surface and they go and touch another surface, I don't know. I mean, I've seen some of these great footages on YouTube where people have got like dye on the hand and they go and touch whatever they touch in a normal day. By the end of the day, it's like this UV, and you're like, how have they touched that?
Everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're thinking, it's trying to get a balance between sort of being realistic about what this is in terms of the virus and obviously bacteria, and then going overkill where we're all living in a bubble. And I think this system can get rid of a lot of that. Well, you don't really need to live in a bubble. You don't need a full hazmat suit. You don't need full PPE from head to toe every single day, because it's not practical. When you're supposed to come in and get it, reach places that people can't do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about the chemicals we use as well. I mean, there are people out there who need to fog in the full hazmat suits, because there's a few chemicals out there that offer lasting protection.
Yeah.
The vast majority of the what I quote unquote good ones use the silver based, because it's generally 99.9% safe for people. There are occasional people who have an allergy to silver, but they're incredibly few and far between. And the amount that you would come into contact with are so incredibly tiny that it's almost a negligible risk.
Yeah.
The other ones that offer lasting protection use combinations of different biocides. So there are formulas out there which use lots of different chemicals mixed together, which leave a chemical residue on surfaces.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of the work we do, we're going into schools, we're going into play centres, and I don't feel comfortable using a chemical residue ones when I can use something that I know is going to be perfectly safe. So you can use other ones. It's just, as a parent myself, if I know nothing's more nailed on than children are going to go around in play centres licking surfaces because they're horrible, dirty little creatures. Yeah. And if I'm going to have my child in that environment, I would feel safer knowing that they were going to potentially come into contact with something that, if ingested, is completely food grade, rather than something you need to fully hazmat up to apply. We don't really need PPE to apply our product. We only use face coverings because the fog is dry and it can, in certain instances, cause mild irritation. Very rarely cause mild skin irritation, but you'll find that out really quickly. As you're applying, once it's done, there's no risk to anybody. That's just on application. Yeah. And so it's up to our installers what they feel comfortable with using. I mean, some prefer to have a bit more protection than others. Some feel it's fine with just a face mask, but it's like I said, it's a completely food grade, non-reactive substance that we use as far as people are concerned. And that's quite hard for some people to understand, because they see you not using PPE and they go, well, how effective can this be?
Yeah,
and it's a tricky one.
That comment that you got, that this is just steam cleaning. It's supposedly like I would imagine, like an argument from ignorance or a knowledge gap about what this technology does and what it is. But if you look around, I mean, when I was doing some of the sort of background research for this podcast, the images that you've got, it's literally someone wearing, like you'd see in the film Outbreak, they're wearing that like glass-faced square shield stuff, and you're thinking, like you've just said there, I mean, a lot of people will be thinking, let's just get them in for a play centre or a school or even an office building where you've got people potentially coming back after furlough, etc., and thinking that's what you need. But if there is a residue left over, there's an expression I learned a couple of weeks ago: is the juice worth the squeeze? Where you're basically changing, trying to sort one problem, but you're creating a problem that you might not know for however many weeks or months.
Absolutely right.
And you're right. I mean, you want to be going into somewhere that effectively has been, quote, treated, that you've got confidence, the certification, the proof, the necessary proof that it's going to do that. that's almost the same as it was before lockdown. So nothing really needs to change, other than the fact that this place has actually had that tick in the box. Where
absolutely right, absolutely right, and that's one thing we're finding is that the businesses we're working with, even though obviously they pay for our services, we're not non for profit. We don't do this for the good of our health, but they're finding that actually the money they're paying us is saving them money compared to the routines they were putting in place.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of gyms that we work with that we're basically having to employ people to spray down all the touch points, which in a gym is everywhere.
Exactly, yeah.
And spraying people to touch down in between each use. And it's a logistical nightmare. And you've still got the human error side of it.
Yeah.
Or just did I take my eye off that? Did I notice and touch that? Did I notice this? And it becomes a massive headache. And the stress and everything else that puts on you is big, it's a big part of it. So our service just generally offers people a lot of that peace of mind that you can almost get back to normal, for want of a better word.
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously still got to be vigilant because you can't stop the person-to-person spread with our thing.
Yeah.
If somebody comes over and sneezes in your face, it doesn't matter if we've fogged a surface or not. You're still going to have that people-to-people transmission.